Welcome back. Rare Pokemon are alt color Pokemon, but you likely know them as shiny Pokemon. Well, whatever they're called, their first appearance was Gold and Silver all the way back in '99. Jump forward to today and I don't really like how they're handled anymore. Now this video isn't about how I think the designs have gone worse, because I don't think that. Gen 9 had some shinies I really liked, and some I really didn't. And you could swap out Gen 9 with any gen in that sentence and it would still make sense. Now I'd love to say that shiny Pokemon were originally invented to add some mystique to the games, to offer a rare moment that could possibly stick with the player for the rest of their lives. I still remember my first shiny Pokemon, but we'll get to that later. We don't actually know why shiny Pokemon were added to the games. I've heard speculation that it was to make the red Gyarados stick out, because a blue Gyarados might have been a little hard to spot. I don't really buy this. We're talking about the game where the mandatory HM waterfall is just sitting at the end of a seemingly optional ice puzzle. I don't think they cared if finding the Gyarados took an extra couple seconds. Personally, I think the red Gyarados exists as a tutorial to tell people, hey, shiny Pokemon, they exist. My big gripe with shiny Pokemon is they don't feel particularly special, or fittingly, rare anymore. There's a lot of factors that have contributed to the lukewarmification of shiny Pokemon, and only some of that is because of the games. As you probably know, shiny odds were originally 1 in 8,192, but that was cut in half in Gen 6, and with that, it's half as special. But it can go much lower. A lot of different hunting methods have been introduced over the course of the franchise. You got the Masuda method, the Poke Radar, chain fishing, the max raid adventures, ultra warp ride, sandwiches. But even dating back to Gold and Silver, where the odds could get down to 1 in 64 when breeding with a shiny Pokemon, due to the way shinies were generated in that game. But that doesn't really help my argument that shinies got worse. Edit that out of the video, me. To be fair, hatching 64 eggs in that game is like a 3-day long project though. But the simplest way to increase the odds is that stupid shiny charm. Now it's a cool reward for completing the Pokedex, like the first 6 times. It's the reward for over a decade at this point. We could maybe spice it up a little, but how many people are getting the shiny charm in every game? Like, you'd have to be deranged and or unhinged with way too much free time. Which I basically described every person who hunts shinies. And me. Now the reduced odds made a huge difference, but shinies really became uncommons with the introduction of overworld spawns. I've got no gripes with overworld spawns. I think that was the correct direction for the franchise. But I don't like their impact or lack of impact on the odds. I think you guys get the gist of it. Before you see one Pokemon with 1 in 4,000 odds. Now you see 15 Pokemon with the same odds for each. There's also one more slight factor that makes them so much easier for people who aren't even trying to hunt shinies, like myself. No more repel. In any of the games with overworld spawns, I don't think I used a single repel. I think I'm gonna have to Google if Scarlet and Violet even have repels. Let me pause. No, they don't have repels. Before, as soon as super repels became available, I never had to see a wild Pokemon again, unless I was going to add another member to my team. But now, I'm constantly seeing wild Pokemon, and more of them. You also have Pokemon Go, which has given me so many shinies. This whole video is really about how I'm suffering from success. So here are my Pokemon Go shinies. If anyone's tabbed out, I'm sitting at 79 unique shinies. I'm not a super avid Pokemon Go player. My interest really comes and goes, as the real Go players could tell, because I only have 79 and not like the entire dex. Also, not a fan of the shiny Pokemon being locked behind paywalls. Nothing feels more special than paying $5 to get a guaranteed shiny Pokemon. Oh yeah, I have other shinies besides from Go. What, you think I'm gonna just reveal it right now? You gotta work for that. Watch more of the video. Now, as I said earlier, not all of this is because of the games. A maybe equally large cause of shinies being ironically lackluster is the internet. I regularly see posts about people finding a shiny or seeing videos about how to get shinies as easily as possible. Now, how do I feel about shiny hunting videos? Honestly, it's pretty cool. A seemingly niche section of Pokemon has a huge community, with whole channels built on shiny related content. Also, what do you expect me to say? Stop shiny hunting? It makes me feel less special when I get one? You know, maybe if my sub count goes up a little, my ego will be that inflated. So like and subscribe. That might be the worst shell in a video ever. But yeah, I personally, I don't like doing it, but I ought to give it an honest try. So I did some shiny hunting and got 18 different shinies with 3 duplicates. I'll be honest, I didn't have fun. The dopamine didn't hit, the serotonin was insufficient. The biggest reason for this was, there was no if. There was only when I was gonna get the shiny. There was how long it's gonna take. And how many shinies I never planned on getting was I gonna find first. The answer was 6. Was that exciting for you? Wasn't exciting for me. I don't want to act like I can't conceive a way people would be into this. Like, I can see it as a secondary thing to do while watching a movie or literally watching this video, or streaming it could be fun, so you have other people to be excited about it with you. For me, the experience was more like a chore than anything else. This next segment is a bit different. I made a survey simply asking which looked better, the shiny or the regular version. I gave it to my friend first, but he was saying stuff like Pelipper should be blue because it's a water type. I need someone who doesn't know what a water type is. So I asked my brother, who's basically a blank slate when it comes to Pokemon. The survey consists of 50 Pokemon picked at random, and 5 Pokemon picked by me personally that I wanted an opinion on. This will allow us to find out if that 3000 reset shiny was actually worse than the original. So my team and I have crunched the numbers. The overwhelming victor was the regular versions. I mean, to be expected, it was closer than I would have thought or hoped for the sake of my point. My brother chose the regular version 62% of the time. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program. I'm guessing some of you have thought, why does this dude care? Because I've thought that too. To explain that, let's go back. It was a particularly cold November morning, back in 2009. I'd have used more adjectives, but I actually don't remember the weather, man. I was like 10. What was important was I'd unwrapped my black DSi and a copy of Pokémon Diamond, and I proceeded to pour thousands of hours into that game. And not once did I see a single shiny. My first shiny came later. It was beautiful. It sat there in the middle of that lake every time I played through a Johto game. Years later, probably around 2012, I was replaying Platinum for the 20th time, as you do, and I went into Wayward Cave to catch a Gibble to add to my generic Sinnoh team. And then it appeared, a shiny Bronzor. I was losing my mind. I was so happy, excited. I was completely caught off guard. I didn't even want to hit it because I was scared of knocking it out. I opened my bag to throw a ball, and it was empty. I had no Pokeballs left. So this next one is kind of embarrassing, but I decided my solution was I turn off my game and try to retrace my steps perfectly from memory so I could make the shiny Bronzor reappear. But halfway through doing that, I realized if I bought Pokeballs, then I'd no longer be retracing my steps. So yeah, in case you were wondering, that does keep me up at night. Years later, I was spending my summer running basically a fruit stand, so I decided to shiny hunt Gauntlet because there was a room where they had 100% spawns. And so I gave myself 100 encounters to find a shiny. So yeah, I counted each and every one, and then at encounter 100, miraculously, I didn't find one. I was a stupid kid who did not know what shiny odds were. And assumed 100 was like a really big number, I guess. I don't know, man, that was sound logic for me. It wouldn't be until 2016 with the release of Sun and Moon, almost 7 years after my first playthrough, that I would find my first ever shiny, which I nicknamed First. Man, I'm coming off like an especially stupid kid in this video, but that nickname does show that it was a big moment for me. It took me almost 7 years to get that shiny, and now it's been almost 7 years since. And now I have 154 different shiny Pokemon. I've had multiple days where I've gone 3 shinies before without doing any kind of hunting method. I don't even nickname them anymore. It just doesn't feel like anything special's happened. Any shiny Pokemon is at your fingertips. As long as you have, I don't know, like an hour to spare. So why do I care? There's nothing in these games that comes close to capturing the feeling shiny Pokemon used to have. A sense that I'd remember each shiny Pokemon I found for the rest of my life. Like I feel about that stupid Bronzor. Man, not one Pokeball? Are you kidding me? Hey guys, so it's been a pretty long time since my last upload. Thank you to everyone who saw this video and clicked on it. Apologies if this video isn't to the same scale as my other videos. I just kinda needed a smaller video to get back on track. Stay tuned for more and later.